Now, help has finally come to octogenarian woman who had both fingers chopped off as a result of leprosy. Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who watched a Hotline documentary by award-winning journalist Seth Kwame Boateng, titled Withered Skins, was touched when Dari Pogo gave a chilling account of her life and how she struggles to survive. Dari Pogo lost all her 10 fingers to leprosy. She walks with only her big toes and only has her granddaughter supporting her. Every day she prays to God to send angels to come and help her. So that help finally arrived today when Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia reached out. But before we bring you details of that, let's watch excerpts of the documentary.
On a dirt compound is a thatched roofed mud house. Out of it, a frail-looking old woman emerges and walks towards a mango tree to get fresh air. Her name is Dari Pogo, a woman possibly in her 80s, living alone in this part of the village with her 13-year-old granddaughter. Dari Pogo suffered leprosy at a younger age, but at that time, she did not know what it was. She used local concoctions in the hope that she would recover, but over time, her condition worsened. She has lost all her 10 fingers, and from afar, you might think both hands have been amputated from the wrist. She remembers exactly how one after the other, she lost all her fingers.
Local medication, a black concoction she used to smear on the skin. Okay. Yeah, he used to smear on the body.
And did she know it was a medical condition or?
Say initially they sent her to war when the condition set in, and that time Upper West wasn't developed as it stands today, and she went there and they said there wasn't medicating us at that time, and she came back. She said the experience is that it will swell. It will swell from the digits, and it will start chopping off from the digits. From digit to a digits, call them phalanges. One phalanges to the next phalanges, to the next phalanges, till it reached the palm. That was how they start falling, and that was the beginning where he cannot feed herself.
Leprosy affects the tissues, especially the cartilage, and then more importantly, affects the nerves. Now, when the nerves are affected, it means that there is loss of sensation. Okay, it's not loss of mobility, although there is to some degree, but largely loss of sensation because it's the peripheral nerves or the nerves that are on the surface, if I put it that way, that are affected, which means that you do not feel pain, you don't feel sensation. For that reason, you can injure yourself and not realize it. Okay, so they end up with sores and with ulcers that eat away at the flesh. The disease in itself also technically eats away at the flesh, the cartilage, and the bone. And so over the years, you get the digits or the extremities receding, and that's where you end up with this club-like features of the fingers or the toes.
And for this old woman, it appears the disease has also affected her eyes, so she tears up unknowingly. She manages to clean those tears with her disfigured hand. Dari Pogo has lost 4 of her 10 children. The rest hardly visit. In fact, for over 5 years now, none has visited her. All she has now is her life and her granddaughter. She goes to bed without any idea where her next meal would come from, until good Samaritans pass by and offer them food. Dari Pogo says at times they sleep on empty stomach.
Okay, what basically she's saying is that it's food if she get money, she can buy food and cook and eat. She's happy. Apart from that, what again does she need? That's what she's telling us.
All she needs is daily meals.
Daily meals. That's what she said.
Today, what she had survived on until our arrival was this mashed local staple called tuzafi, made of corn flour. It wouldn't take a child less than a minute to consume it all. But because it's not enough, Daripuga sips it hourly so it can sustain her throughout the day. Anytime she's unwell and had to visit the local health facility, she treks for miles on her deformed legs, which have only her 2 big toes left.
She rather said before she can embark on the journey, she needs to set off as early as possible before the sunrise. She have to walk small. Sometime before she get to the health center, the cleaners are still even cleaning around. So she will wait when they finish cleaning everything, just take care of her, serve her the medication.
And then she treks back.
So you can see where she lives. You might think it's an abandoned structure. No, it's not an abandoned structure. That's where she rests her head. And at times when there's nobody here, she has nothing to eat because there's nothing she can do for herself.
Seth Kwame Boateng's latest documentary. Following the airing of that documentary, a lot of you have been sending in your support through mobile money for her, and we're really grateful. Well, this morning, the Vice President reached out to her through the Upper West Regional Minister, Hafiz Bin Salih. They made some presentation at Gurungu, where Daripuga lives. Seth Kwame Boateng is joining me on Zoom to tell us more of what happened today. Hi, Seth. Tell us what exactly intervention the Vice President put in for her.
So this morning, he dispatched the Upper West Region Minister to go to that village and see the woman. He made him go with food and other items, food stuff and other items, and also gave her some money. I understand the items they presented together with the money amounts to about 5,000. I also understand from what the region minister tells me that from tomorrow, construction of a 2-bedroom building will start. In fact, the region minister went there with a contractor who will do the project, and the vice president has instructed that is done for her, and the vice president is actually sponsoring that. So that is the intervention we've received from the vice president. And aside him, we've had other Ghanaians also donate. Since yesterday, people have been sending the little they have to us. And the last time I checked, we've received a little over 3,000. And people are still sending some money to us to be sent to this woman.
God bless them and God bless her soul as well. Seth, congratulations for doing this work. Also, I was just going to ask you about what we have generated from the mobile money contributions, which you've rightly indicated. But she was obviously not the only one in that story. Wrap up for me on who else is represented in that story.
So Gifty, this is just the part 1 of the 3-part series. We have heard just the part 1. We have 2 more episodes to air. Okay. And there are other stories in the other episodes to come. So we may have to wait and hear the other stories too, Gifty.
No problem. Seth, thank you very much. We look forward to the next 2 parts. Seth Kwame Boateng is producer of that documentary, Daripuga, who has received some intervention, getting close to 10,000. Hopefully we'll get there. And to all the others who will be featured, we'll get some help for them.